Hi, let's start with all the ingredients you'll need. 1 cup of milk, a half a cup of water, or 1 cup of water if you like it a little thicker. Your chai mix will be cinnamon, cloves, black pepper, and ginger. Half a teaspoon of fresh ginger, 2 tea bags, and finally a 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom. So let's go ahead and start with pouring 1 cup of milk into the saucepan. And you can immediately add the water, and again, to your liking, create it as thick or unthick as you'd like. 2 bags of tea. I like to use orange pekoe, but it's up to you and your preference. Some people prefer a more English gray or a Darjeeling. And then here comes our chai mix. Now this chai mix is in equal proportions of the ingredients, and you can make it prior and keep a batch of this handy at all times. I like to add fresh ginger that I've grated. And finally, as you see, I'm using cardamom pods as an example. Go ahead and place the cardamom inside the tea. So almost all the ingredients are now placed inside of the pot. And the reason that we add so many of these spices is not only because it tastes good, but also because it helps to stimulate the digestion so all the fat from the milk can be broken down a little easier. Could you choose an alternative to regular milk? Absolutely. It will take about 3 minutes for the entire mixture to start boiling. So you can go ahead and set your timer, but I recommend stirring occasionally and getting everything ready with your teacups and also the optional sugar that I like to recommend as a sweetener. And you can choose what alternative you'd like, but in Ayurveda we recommend not using honey, because when honey is heated, it loses its efficacy and turns into a mild toxin. Now comes the point where you boil your milk 3 times. So what does that mean? It means increasing the temperature of the chai 3 times in order to see it boil over to the point where you feel like it's going to flow over. The reason that we do it 3 times, or quite often, is to allow for some of those proteins to break down so that it's easier to digest, especially for those who have a tendency toward having a sensitivity to dairy. This can actually help the body digest it. You are losing some proteins, but the benefit of doing this is that the body can then start absorbing more of those medium chain triglycerides that dairy has to offer. And that's the kind of fat that doesn't store into the body, but the body can use more immediately for energy. And we generally do this for milk in general, and also chai. So once you're done boiling the milk, go ahead and remove the tea bags, and only after the heat has been turned off, you can add the sugar. You can add sugar to taste, stir it, and then because you have the particles of all of the spices inside of the tea itself, and some people like to use actual loose leaf tea, it's recommended that you use a small strainer to strain out whatever is left there so none of it goes in the tea, especially if you're using fresh ginger and you don't want that getting into your tea. Once you've poured out the tea, let your pan sit and cool and add some water to it to rinse the inside out. I hope you enjoy. Feel free to ask questions or visit me at amitayurveda.com.